you see, President William Ruto understands very well that if the narrative is about tribalism, he is winning it. He is going to win it. He shall win it. But if the narrative is on matters, economy, service delivery, and government performance, then he is out. And former DP Rigathi Gachagua understands this very well. He knows Ruto. He understands this very well. And that is the reason in his speech yesterday, Rigathi Gachagua's revolved around corruption and government performance. So there are reports saying that President William Ruto's team is not taking this lightly, because yesterday Rigathi Gachagua destroyed all the gains he has made in the Western region, and now they are trying to look for ways to tame DP Rigathi Gachagua, because they know if he continues like this, then it is over for them. So there are reports, there are claims suggesting that they are organizing a crisis meeting at StateHouse. Of course, it is Ruto and his team, the likes of Kina Sudi, Kina Murkomen, and these political advisors and the rest. So they are trying to come up with ways to tame DP Rigathi Gachagua. And how are they going to do it? Perhaps they are going to use the KRA and EACC, perhaps to try and kufufua zile kesi, mambo na tax and all that, because that is the only thing that they can use against Rigiji as at now. But on matters as politics and narrative, Rigiji is ahead of them. Rigathi Gachagua is ahead of President William Ruto. And you see, for so many years, President William Ruto has been shining in this political field, especially on matters of creating narratives. Remember during the 2022 campaigns towards 2022 elections, man was everywhere. Ruto was everywhere, just saying this, throwing jabs, insulting, abusing, and all that. Nobody in ODM's party, nobody in Azimio coalition could match Ruto's energy. And now we have Rigathi Gachagua, who to me is even ahead of Ruto's tactics and theatrics, especially when it comes to creating narratives. Yesterday, Rigiji talks about a lot of things. He talks about the civil servant and how their pay slips is so thin and slim. And even as we speak right now, I've read somewhere that the government plans to increase the NSSF cut pay from 2,000, cut from 2,000 to 4,000. You see, this is what Rigiji was telling the civil servants yesterday, that your pay slip has been raided and you can stop this in 2027. So the team at StateHouse, I know they are terrified, they are panicked, because this is a man who has nothing to lose. Rigiji has nothing to lose. You impeached him. What more harm can you do to him? And it seems that the impeachment did more good than harm to DP Rigathi Gachagua. And this cannot be disputed. This cannot be ignored. President William Ruto knows very well that this cannot be ignored. So Ruto and his team will be trying so hard to bring that tribal card on the table. He will do that because he has nothing to tell Kenyans. He has nothing to tell Kenyans. Rigathi Gachagua yesterday told him that you are telling me that I am incompetent, but you are going to Western region to launch a transformer. That was a below the belt tackle. Imagine a president going to launch a transformer. A president should be launching a project worth billion of shillings, dams, so many things that the president can launch that the mwananchi can see indeed the president is doing something. So that was the hardest tackle that the president received yesterday. And you know that we all know Ruto is a man, is going to respond. He is going to respond. The response is coming. the response is coming. And is going to have a very difficult moment. You see, sometimes being in government, you see what Kenyans are expecting to hear from Rigathi Gachagua is different from what they are expecting to hear from Ruto. They are expecting to hear from Ruto things like between 2022 and 2023, we done this project. It costed this amount of money, or even though it is not finished, we are planning to finish it in the next 3 months, in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, or in the next 1 year. Then we have this project B that is going to connect people with water. We have this project that is going to connect this road A and road B. That is what Kenyans want to hear from Ruto. And of course, matters health, matters education, matters employment, matters infrastructure. These are what Kenyans are expecting to hear from President William Ruto. Not to tell them that Rigathi Gachagua was this, Rigathi Gachagua was that. Nobody wants to hear that we impeach Rigathi Gachagua because he was corrupt, because he is divisive. We know how appointments are being done in our country. So you cannot attack, you cannot seek votes from Kenyans by attacking Rigathi Gachagua. It is not going to work. It is not going to work. The only way that can take Ruto higher, can try to convince people, is by Ruto working. That is the only weapon that he has as at now. The 2 years remaining, Ruto need to lock himself in the office. Ruto need to push the cabinet secretary, the PS, anybody's working in this government. It is time for Ruto to push them to bring in work that is seen. That is the only way that is going to save him. Nothing is going to save him. If he's good enough, he must ensure that between now and 2027, our public hospital is in good shape. We have medicine, drugs, enough nurses and doctors and all that. Our schools now, we have CBC. Parents are crying day and night. We have things that are too expensive for them to afford. There are so many requirements that the parents are complaining. We have not enough books, not enough teachers, not enough classrooms. So these are things that the president should be working on, not to attack Rigathi Gachagua, because Rigathi Gachagua is out. How are you going to convince a person in Turkana when you want a classroom that we are here where we are because of Rigathi Gachagua? No, they are not going to buy that. They will not buy that. Come and tell Kenyans that we are listening to you. We are listening to your cries and to your pleas. And in the next 3 months, we are going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And indeed, in the next 3 months, Kenya should see that work in progress. No more promises. President William Ruto should no longer promise. At least for what he promised and for what the UDA manifesto stood for, it should be working on that. It should now consider even coming with 1 or 2 projects that it will use to convince Kenyans to vote him back. But telling Kenyans, telling unemployment youth stories are rigiji, it is not helping them. Tell the Kenyan youths that I'm going to do this, I am going to do this. I'm going to create this opportunity for this. I'm going to do this for you guys. Something that is bringing them hope. But coming, standing and telling Kenyans that Rigathi Gachagua was tribal, Rigathi Gachagua was divisive, Rigathi Gachagua was not to do, that is not helping anyone. Sincerely speaking, is not helping anyone. Patients in hospital are complaining about SHA. So you telling them about Rigathi Gachagua, how is it going to help them? President need to get serious. He is the president of the Republic of Kenya, and Kenyans want to see him working. This exchanging of words between him and Rigathi Gachagua is not helping the common mwananchi. Rigathi Gachagua can do that because he's out of government. Hakuna zenye kitu wa Kenya watamuuliza, is out, is not receiving tax checks, money and all that. So Rigathi Gachagua is out of government. Nobody ataenda kwa Rigathi Gachagua amwambie mbona hospitali hii haina dawa, but they can go to President Ruto and tell him why is this hospital haina dawa. So the president needs to understand that, and the only way to get the public trust back is by at least doing something. Kenyans want to see him doing something. I don't know how he's going to do about it, because it seems that he has already started his campaigns, but he really needs to stop that. He really needs to stop that, and he really needs to start embarking on working on the promises, on the agendas. At least before 2027, we shall have a policy and project that is working for mwananchi, something that Kenyans can be proud of and say, indeed, we elected this man and this is what he did, and we are going to give him a second term based on what he did for us. It is as simple calculations as that. So Rigathi Gachagua name should just stop, and they should focus on helping the common man, because it is tough. Each and every Kenyan is complaining about hard economic times. Who is going to solve this problem? Who is going to solve this problem? Rigathi, by mentioning Rigathi's name, is not going to solve this problem. It is not going to. That is it for me for today. Thanks for watching. This is Sophia Live.